The Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's hybrid console and probably the most popular console of all time, is fastly making its way. But today we're going to be talking about why we haven't gotten Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch. Now, please note that this video isn't necessarily a video based on facts and merely just my observation and based on a few things which probably make a lot more sense to me in regards to why Super Smash Bros. Hasn't come out on the Nintendo Switch now. So, just by getting that out of the way, you guys shouldn't necessarily take this video as serious or as it being any form of facts published by Nintendo. So take it with a grain of salt as it just being my personal opinions. Now, first and foremost, Super Smash Bros. Has been dominating pretty much every console that it has been released for. It was one of the greatest games when it was released for Nintendo 64. It was also a great game when it was released for the Nintendo GameCube. It was also one of the top games being waited for when the Nintendo Wii was released. And not to mention, it was potentially the only game that pretty much saved the Wii U from being a complete non-sale console or just staying on store shelves. However, the Nintendo Switch is a lot different. The Nintendo Switch has been released and was released with Zelda being it's pretty much the game that was bringing this entire console to the point where it was pretty much considered a Zelda machine for most of its life cycle. Aside from that, the Nintendo Switch is potentially one of the most popular of all of Nintendo's consoles to ever been released, not mentioning the Nintendo Game Boy Advance, which, by the way, was one of the best consoles they've ever released. Now, one of the reasons why I think that Super Smash Bros. Hasn't been released for the Nintendo Switch is for a few reasons. One, I believe that they've actually been considering the fact that even though the Wii U is pretty much a dead console, they have considered using it in some way, shape, or form. Because if you guys haven't known, one of the things that keeps Nintendo in this console business so long is the way that they make sure that you never waste hardware that you buy. Like, for example, take this. The Nintendo GameCube controller is still one of the most used controllers of all times. And think about this. The PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4 currently is able to use PlayStation 2 controllers, and I think I'm not sure if it uses PlayStation 3. No, PlayStation 4 only uses PlayStation 4 controllers. PlayStation 3 could use PlayStation 2 controllers. PlayStation 2 could use PlayStation 1 controllers, I assume. But Nintendo Wii U could use Nintendo GameCube controller. Now think about how much generations this is backwards. The Wii U could use GameCube controllers as well as Wiimotes. Okay? The Wii could use Wiimotes as well as GameCube controllers. Alright? And the GameCube created the GameCube controllers. That's literally 3 generations behind. And now the Nintendo Switch is coming now. And there's also the code inside the Nintendo Switch with the expansion for the GameCube controller adapter, which means that GameCube controllers can now work on the Nintendo Switch, which only means that they're gearing up for something, and I think that something is Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch. Now, another thing that I believe that why they haven't really released it is because they wanted to put ice climbers in the game, but due to issues, they couldn't put ice climbers in the game. So they had to remove ice climbers from the game because the Wii U not having enough power to process both ice climbers, or if 8 of them were on the stage at any given time. So I believe that with the Nintendo Switch now, with a more beefed up hardware, they will be able to do this and probably do it more smoothly and flawlessly than they could have done with the Nintendo Wii U. However, as I've said before, Nintendo doesn't like to waste consoles and they don't like to waste hardware. So they've probably considered the fact that they wanted to make the Nintendo 3DS compatible with connecting to the Nintendo Switch, as well as the Nintendo Wii U being able to connect to the Nintendo Switch. So they want both of these hardwares to be able to connect with the Nintendo Switch. And why? It's simple. Now, Nintendo have recently launched their new 3DS XLs and also their new 2DS XLs, which means that they have two new versions of the same handheld console, which is the Nintendo 3DS and the Nintendo 2DS. So basically, they would still only have this console that they've recently launched, and as they've said before, they're not using the Nintendo Switch to replace the Nintendo 3DS, so they want to keep support for it. And seeing that Super Smash Bros. Is already for the Nintendo 3DS and for the Nintendo Wii U, what better way to get those old dusty Wii U's off the shelves than to actually let people know that they can actually buy a Nintendo Wii U. Now, if they can still find them in stores, get Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, and they can play with their friends who have a Nintendo Switch. Now, that is an amazing deal. And if you've bought a new 3DS XL or a new 2DS XL, just so you could play Pokemon Sun or Pokemon Moon or Pokemon Ultra Sun, Pokemon Ultra Moon, now you actually have the ability to play Super Smash Bros. With people who have a Nintendo Switch. Now, again, guys, these are just speculations and rumors and just pretty much me just throwing stuff out there. But I think probably one of the most feasible reasons for them not to release Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch is just overall just a long haul. Nintendo is trying to squeeze every last drop that they can out of the Nintendo Switch's hype right now with the current games that are on it, because it's done so well without any of the major titles. Like, for example, Super Mario Odyssey recently got released, right? And we've recently got Doom. More third-party support is coming, and they're trying to just see if they can get as much out of the market as they can now. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was a recent title as well, so they're pretty much just seeing if they can get as much as they can get out of it before dropping the big guns. And everybody knows that the big guns is the new Metroid and new Super Smash Bros. We've already gotten new Zelda. We've already gotten new Mario. Now we definitely know that new Metroid is another big gun, and then comes the fusion of Super Smash Bros. Anyway, guys, if you guys like this video, please hit that like button, please hit that share button, turn on post notifications so you guys can be notified every single time I drop a video like this. Also, check out our other playlists, which are in various categories, which I'm sure that you guys will enjoy. This is Triple S Storm, guys. Have a Youbitubical day, and I'll see you in another video.